The season starts here. A new training block built from the ground up. After a short warm-up including some plyometrics, the session starts simple. 4 10-meter sled sprints. Not about speed, not yet. Just control, rhythm, and intent. We're testing how much force my body can drive before it breaks or adapts. Every sprint begins on the load with sleds, stacked 2 kilograms heavier each week. A slow start, but the body's finally awake. Now it's not about holding back, it's about seeing how deep I can dig for speed. After an almost 3 temps jump, can we go any faster? Let's find out. This block's built in a wave pattern. Everything revolves around the front squat and the bench. Monday opens the cycle with 3 sets of 6. The focus isn't weight, it's the depth, bar control, and rhythm under pressure. Each week, just 2.5 kilograms heavier. Small numbers, but over time, they build something you can't fake, which I need, stability. The weights are set to 65% of my 1 rep max. Beyond the bench and the squats, the weights are variable at whatever I deem necessary. Some DOMs in the shoulder, quads and glutes, but the goal is the same as Monday. Set a benchmark and smash it. What was meant to be 5 reps became 3. He opened fast and faded. The best time came first and nothing after matched it. The reps dropped from 6 to 5 as the sets slightly rise and the weight follows. However, the strategy stays the same. Focus on control. After some plyometrics, Friday brings the first free sprint of the week, 4 times 30 meters. No sled, no resistance, just me in the grass. The question now, how much have the sleds really changed my drive phase in so little time? With not only 2 PBs but consistent time within the 4/4s, we move on to the gym where we still have the same front squats with the reps dropping from 5 to 4, but instead of bench we switch to pull-ups which don't have a specific weight assigned to them. The final sprint session of the week has 2 focuses, 3 times 10 sledded sprints and 2 times 10 free sprints. With times of 2:27 and 2:03 to beat for the sledded and free sprints respectively, we move on to the final day of the gym where we attack the heaviest session for the front squat, bench, as well as the hip thrust. thrust, this is the only exercise other than the front squat and the bench where I have a specific weight that I must do. I only do it once per week, specifically Saturday, due to the base strength that I already have in the exercise. Compared to last year's week 2, everything moves sharper. The weight's on as heavy, but the control's better. Front squats, hip thrusts, everything's tighter. The more noticeable change this season compared to last season is the weights are between 65 to 80% on my 1 rep max, whilst last season training's done, did 77 and 67% with a week. And even with the Sled's 2 kilograms heavier, the 30 meter times say it all. Matching last year and cleaner technique even with the extra weight. With acceleration focused training, it's impossible to add in long work, but that will be reintroduced with time. The reason why I'm running so fast, even with the weight, is because my final few steps are just amazing. But the first few steps, they don't look good, and they just aren't good. And I partially blame some of that on the Sled. I'm not used to using the Sled. I've only used it twice now. But over time, this needs to be fixed. But I have noticed some other issues in my just general training that is showing in the Sled. One of the biggest ones being the fact that I'm only pushing off the front foot, not the back foot, which I don't really understand. I think it might just be me not being comfortable in the shoes. Compared to last year, even if the angle's different, it is clear to see the issues of last year are no longer happening this year. Full steps, pushing off the back foot, everything is going smoothly. Now 2 weeks later, I'm challenging my PBs from week 1. I've changed how I push on each step, and now it's time to find out if it's worked. The goal for Monday was a 4.6 for the 30 meter sled sprints. The PB remained unshaken, but so did my belief in this new technique. Monday's gym session went smooth and was the first indicator of a very successful training block. I was doing weights quite similar to what I would have been doing last year, with greater range of motion and a lot of control, and most important of all, for Monday with an extra rep, so the volume was actually greater than it would have been last year and I wasn't struggling. If I needed to increase it by another rep, I could do that. If I needed to increase the weight by a whole 10 kilograms, I can also do that. My skill in the bench is amongst the lowest of all the exercises I do in the gym, but following this training block I did notice similar results to the squats, not so much in the weights per se, but definitely in terms of control, bracing and just general technique under the bar. Wednesday is a 20 meter sled where we aim not just to chase 3.6 but to right the wrongs of Monday. That's the kind of result I was expecting on Monday, but a lot of things happened which ended up making me run really slow. So for this session it was raining heavier and it's more wet than it was on Monday, but I just moved the whole sled forwards, and there was one technical thing that I was forgetting to do on all the runs and I made sure I did it, and we just flew. After 2 runs being a PB compared to the 3.78 initially, and 1 run giving me the 3.6, we now move on to the gym. This session sees the reps drop back down to 5 reps, in line with what I was doing last year, however the weights differ at times drastically. Last year, week 3, we was doing 87 kilograms for the front squat, whilst this time we're doing 87.5, and the range of motion is easily greater than it was last year, and the control I have over the bar is also greater. An extra 1 or 2 reps would not have been a problem here. Whilst the front squat only had a 0.5 kilogram increase, the bench had a 7 to 8 kilogram increase compared to what we were doing last year. And whilst this is programmed in default for how I'm going to be moving with the weights increasing, it is still incredible that I can lift so much more compared to last year with just slight changes in my training. You start a Friday session off with some plyometrics. Following that would be a 30-meter free sprint where the goal is to smash my PB of 4:41 with a 4.3. There was a timing error for the first rep, so I provided a hand time estimate. Following another successful sprint session, we move on to the penultimate and second heaviest session of the week. Chin-ups replace pull-ups for a better focus on my weaknesses instead of my strengths. Now I move on to the final session of the week, where you have 10 meters, sledded and free sprint, with a goal of a 2.1 for sled and 1.9 for free sprint. Understandably the hardest challenge to achieve, but I've already had a lot of success. Can we do it? Let's find out. After achieving half of our goals, we move on to the heaviest gym session, not just of the week, but of the whole training plan. 3 weeks in and the numbers don't lie. Not only have my strength and control been restored, but they have been rebuilt and reshaped into stuff I didn't expect to happen so quickly. 3 weeks of quiet work. No fireworks, no shortcuts, just pure discipline. The body's stronger and the rhythm's back. Now every rep and every stride will mean something, because from here on, Product 21 will only see me get faster and stronger. Following is a comparison of my PBs in week 1 to week 3. I'm way ahead of schedule and I am excited for what the next training block has. If we're doing this in only 3 weeks, imagine what we'll be 3 or 4 months from now. Next episode will be more hamstring focused, with RDLs and a variation of an Olympic lift making a return, as well as on the sprint side we'll be chasing new PBs in a 10 meter fly and a 30 meter free sprint. I'll see you over there.